After 20 years with my partner, I discovered he's had 10 years of sexual encounters with men while I managed my school abroad. I care about my relationship, he claimed, but he also asked, can I see women now? I feel trapped, numb, and need to find my strength to leave. I am a 70-year-old female and have been with my current partner, a 74-year-old male, for 20 years. We are not married, have no children, but we own a house together and share our families. I recently discovered that he has been pursuing sexual encounters with men for at least 10 years. He has had hundreds of sexual interactions and has met more than 40 men. I manage a school abroad as a nonprofit organization, which means I am away almost once a month. Whenever I was away, he was meeting men, welcoming them into our home and our bathroom. I was hospitalized for several months and was in a coma, during which I almost died. He visited me and provided support, but during that time he engaged in even more extreme sexual encounters. I found a bag in his office filled with lubricant, condoms, and sex toys. I also discovered his profile on a gay dating application where we exchanged messages, and he confided in me about his fantasies. Strangely enough, he stated that he cares about our relationship. When I confronted him, he initially denied everything but eventually confessed to some of it. However, it was a continuous cycle of lies. First, he claimed it was only 1 or 2 men, then it escalated to 7 and then 20, but I am aware that the number is higher. He feels no regrets. He acknowledges that he violated our agreement but does not express remorse. Instead, he frequently complains about the mess in our home and asks me to address it. He stated that he is uncertain about his desire to commit. Initially, he agreed to commit for a week. Now, every time I leave for my work at the school, I have to ask him to recommit. At one point, he even remarked, now that I cannot meet men anymore, I can be with women. He continues to fantasize about the men he has encountered and is now also fascinated by women. He expressed a desire to meet joyful women. He shows no remorse and does not want to be viewed as the guilty husband who was caught. He had a long-term relationship with one man and was intimate with him just a few months ago. Even after I learned the truth and confronted him, he maintained contact and met with him twice. I do not believe they had sexual relations, but I am not certain. A few days ago, we had a significant argument because I reminded him that I did not want him to see this man anymore. I informed him that calling and messaging were acceptable, but not meeting in person. I asked him if he would agree to that commitment, and he responded that he does not know. He wants to consult a friend first and think it over. He also refuses to discuss the past. He insists that the only thing that matters is the present and repeatedly states, I want to start on better foundations. Even before I discovered his infidelities, we were consistently arguing. Now it is clearly worse, and he becomes angry with me more frequently. If I had not uncovered the truth, he would never have disclosed it. He would have continued to lie. We began couples therapy and have only attended one session thus far, but honestly, I am feeling very discouraged. We have not been intimate for 4 years. After I discovered the truth, we had sexual relations twice. Now I have a sexually transmitted disease. I am unsure which one, as I do not have that information yet. I feel trapped. I keep telling myself, if he does it one more time, I will leave him. He is not kind to me. He does not speak to me in a considerate manner. However, he is charming. He can be nice and caring, but is also extremely unpleasant at times. I do not know how many years I have left. I am done with drama. I just want peace and comfort. Part of me thinks I should stay for the sake of comfort. I do not even care anymore. I feel numb. I do not want to move houses. I do not want any more changes. I just want peace. I am so discouraged. I do not have the strength to leave him. Even after I confronted him, I continue to get hurt. He is seeing a therapist, but he does this for his own sake. He does not want to share with me what they discuss. He also has many dreams for his future, but I am not included in them. He wants to travel and spend 3 months in New York, all without me. My friends tell me I should forgive him, that we simply need to work on our relationship for it to succeed. Some people I barely know insist that it cannot work. We still go on vacations together. We just returned from a 2-week trip and are about to depart for another 10 days soon. Recently, we attended a seminar where he continuously mentioned that he needs to heal from his childhood trauma. Now, I feel sympathy for him. I want to leave, I just do not feel strong enough. I feel unattractive, like a mess. I need help, I do not know what to do. I feel helpless and I lack the strength. Story 2. After 9 years of marriage and 2 kids, I discovered my husband had an affair starting just 2 months postpartum. I was ashamed, he claimed, while hiding the truth for years. Now I want out, but I worry about the future. Is it wrong to leave him after all this time? My husband cheated on me years ago, shortly after I gave birth to our first child. He got his ex-girlfriend pregnant and concealed it from me for years. Now that I am aware of the truth, I want to leave. I am a 30-year-old female and my husband is a 31-year-old male. He had an affair 6 years ago with his ex-girlfriend, who is the mother of his first child. During their affair, he impregnated her and she chose to keep the child. He kept this information from me for years. When I eventually discovered the existence of the baby, he claimed that she had sexually assaulted him and he felt ashamed, which is why he kept it a secret. He began consulting attorneys to file charges but never pursued any legal action. He continually swore he was innocent and never admitted to the affair. I recognized that I was foolish, but I was young and naive. I stayed with him because I had just given birth to our second child shortly before finding out the truth, and I was afraid of being a single mother to 2 children without a job. I had nowhere to go, I felt trapped. Staying seemed easier at that time. For context, we have been together for 9 years and have 2 children together. In the past, I caught him sending explicit messages to other women, which made me feel insecure in our relationship due to his behavior. Truly, there were numerous warning signs early in our relationship, but I chose to overlook them because I was young and in love. Less than 2 years into our relationship, I became pregnant. He proposed to me and I hoped that things would improve, but they did not. I consistently worried about his faithfulness, but I had no concrete evidence to justify my concerns, and whenever I asked him, he always denied it. When our first child was about a year old, I received a message on social media from his ex-girlfriend's former boyfriend. He informed me that he had found evidence suggesting my partner and her were having an affair and that she had become pregnant by him. I confronted my partner, and he convinced me that she was unstable and lying. He vehemently denied ever cheating. They always had a tumultuous co-parenting relationship, often battling in court over custody. We even filed for bankruptcy at one point due to mounting attorney fees. I could never have imagined he would cheat on me with her, given how rocky their relationship appeared from my perspective. We even got married while she was pregnant, as I had no idea of the situation. I certainly would not have married him had I known. I asked him about this for years because it never felt right to me. I would frequently bring it up, and he would always assure me that he had not been unfaithful. He has no contact with her or their 2 children anymore. At the beginning of this year, I managed to get him to admit the truth. He did indeed have an affair, and his excuse regarding sexual assault was a fabrication. For 2 months following his admission, he continued to insist it was only a one-time incident. I knew he was lying and persisted in pressing him. Finally, this week, he confessed that they had an on-and-off affair for almost a year, beginning when I was just 2 months postpartum with our first child together. I am utterly disgusted by his actions and feel foolish for being unaware while everything was happening. During what should have been some of the most challenging moments of my life, becoming a mother, recovering from childbirth, and adjusting to my new body, he was betraying me with his ex. The fact that he cheated on me for months while being intimate with both of us, just after I had our first child together, is infuriating. I asked him about it countless times over the years, and he consistently insisted he would never betray me. He had years and ample opportunities to confess, yet he chose deception and concealment for as long as he could. How is it possible to lie to someone for such an extended period without feeling like a terrible person? I want a divorce. Am I irrational for seeking a divorce years after the fact? This man does not respect me. He claims he has changed and is no longer the same person, but I do not want to waste any more of my time with him, only to go through this same ordeal again in the future. It feels as if I have had an epiphany and realized that my feelings for him have faded significantly over the years, especially after he finally validated my suspicions. Our entire relationship now feels like it was built on a foundation of lies. Additionally, we have not been physically or affectionately connected for years. He does not understand why I want a divorce so many years later. He insists he was young and foolish but claims to still love me and has not cheated since, but how can I trust that? I am anxious about the future. We purchased a house last year that I cannot afford without him, and if we sell it now, we will likely end up owing money that we do not have. I once again feel trapped. I worry for my children when they find out. I do not want their lives to be disrupted. I am not sure if I seek advice or validation, or if someone who has experienced a similar situation could offer insight. I feel as though I have been caught in a sunk cost fallacy and have wasted so many years of my life. My life feels incredibly complicated, and I am angry with myself for having been his doormat for so long. I wish I had left years ago. Story 3. I fell for a guy who confessed to making out with a married coworker but sobered up to post flirty comments on her pics while we dated. I'm not lying, he claimed, yet I found deleted sweet messages. Do I confront him, or am I crazy for still hoping? I met my boyfriend last August on a dating application, and we initially had casual conversations. He revealed to me his secret of having made out with his coworker, who is already married and has 2 children. He claimed he did it while drunk. During that time, I did not judge him because I never expected he would date me. He mentioned that they met again and made out, this time sober. The woman he made out with is 10 years older than him. My boyfriend was 25 and the girl was 35. He also mentioned that the girl has a crush on him despite being married, and he admitted that he too has a crush on her. Fast forward to September of last year, he asked me to go to the movies on a date. He had work and we met around 9 p.m. We ended up watching a movie that I would describe as boring. It was not the film we intended to see, but we were late, so we went ahead and watched it. Afterward, we took a walk. He asked me if I could go home, and I said yes, but he informed me that he could not because their gate closes at midnight and opens at 6 a.m. I told him I could go home but did not want to leave him alone, and then he asked me to check into a hotel for the night. When we arrived at the hotel, we talked and played a mobile game together. Eventually, we ended up having sex and fell asleep right after. The next morning, he woke me up to say that he needed to go to work, and so we got ready and left the hotel. He hugged me and said goodbye. At that time, I never thought that this would eventually develop into something serious, but I said yes and had sex with him. He messaged me once he got to work, which was something I did not expect, making me think that he was not just interested in my body or seeking only a good time. After some time, we communicated more and grew closer, and when we met for the second time, we were officially dating. Although I did not know much about him and did not conduct any background checks, I attempted to look at his social media account. I discovered a girl who turned out to be the coworker he had made out with. I examined her account and noticed that he would leave a comment on every picture she posted. Initially, I thought they might just be close friends, but over time, it became a habit for me to monitor her account, and I observed that it had also become a habit for him. Months passed, and last December I brought up the story he told me about making out with a coworker, expressing how it had not left my mind, especially since it occurred not once but twice while they were sober. He admitted that things became a little awkward afterward and he started avoiding the girl. We had an argument about it, and on December 28 I invited him to my cousin's 18th birthday celebration. We went together and I introduced him to my relatives. While I was in front of the stage performing in the entourage, I noticed he was not paying attention to me and was on his phone. I tried to dismiss it. Then last January we met again, went on a date, and had sex later that day. I fell asleep right afterward and so did he. I woke up around 3 a.m. feeling anxious with an intense urge to check his phone. I really tried to dismiss the feeling, but it was overwhelming, so I went through his phone and discovered that he was chatting with the girl. He mentioned that she was getting prettier and that he was not drunk, so he was not lying. I did not confront him about it and instead gathered as much evidence as I could. The detective in me took over, and I revisited our conversations from the time we were not together, recalling when he mentioned making out with the girl who has a family and realizing he knows her husband. I searched for this girl's birthday on her social media account, but it was private. I looked for her name and included "Happy Birthday" to me and found a post with a hashtag of 36. Everything made sense to me. At the time they made out, she was 35, meaning she was born in 1988, while my boyfriend was born in 1998. This explained why he had mentioned that the girl he made out with was 10 years older than him. I was truly devastated. He provided me with access to his social media account, and I noticed that the sweet messages in their thread had been deleted. They were not unsent, they were completely gone. He made sure to erase everything before giving me his account credentials. I know they were deleted because I took pictures of their conversation when I had gone through his phone. Now I am uncertain about how to confront him, as every time I attempt to do so, he believes I want to start a fight. Valentine's Day is approaching, and I do not know whether we will make it. I am deeply invested emotionally, having given him gifts, lent him money, and paid for some of our dates. I am unsure if it is worth holding on and delaying the inevitable. I wrote this to express my feelings, and I hope you will not judge me but rather share your thoughts on how I should approach this. I am hurting in silence. It turns out I was right all along, which is why I felt something was off, even though he gave me reassurances and flowery words. Am I going insane, or does it now make sense? We have been together for 5 months, and I am afraid of reverting to my old ways as it destroyed me. Leaving him would hurt me just as much as staying with him. 22F. Story 4. My wife's girls' trip led to a happy ending I never expected. She said, "I was thinking about you," but found out she got FCK'd by a giant Mexican dick. Now, after 13 years, I'm left feeling betrayed. How did we get here? 52M46 FTLDR. My wife went for a sanctioned happy ending massage during a girls' trip. We discussed it after she returned home. She mentioned a sexual act involving her face, and I asked if she had engaged in a full oral sex act. She inquired whether she had told me that information previously over the phone, as she was quite intoxicated at the time. No? All right, it sounds like you and your friends had an adventurous trip, enough said. Well, I never snoop, but yesterday I noticed she left for work with her iMessage client open on her desktop. I impulsively opened a message to another friend, which revealed that she not only received a happy ending but also had full penetrative sex. I am feeling quite miserable right now. No spoilers, but her choice of words did not help. About 2 weeks ago, my wife 46F of 13 years went on a trip to Puerto Vallarta because her best friend Kay was going through a really difficult time. The last time we were in Puerto Vallarta together, she had received a happy ending massage and the phrase getting a Carlos had become an inside joke between us. On the way to the airport, I said, I know you are going to take Kay to get a Carlos, and I want you to know that it is acceptable for you to get one too. Essentially, it was a guilt-free release, reward, or adventure for her, and I benefited from the residual increased sexual desire for months. It was a way to recharge her sexual fantasies. Everyone wins, right? 2 years ago, after that first experience when we were together, she mentioned that she had a legitimately great massage, during which he fingered her and she climaxed. Then she gave Carlos a hand job, with him finishing on her thigh. I admitted that her reciprocation and his ejaculation on her created feelings of jealousy that I wasn't even aware of before. We talked it over, were both open and honest, and seemingly reached a better mutual understanding regarding our boundaries, emotional motivations, fantasies, and our sexual relationship overall. Thus, I felt very comfortable and trusting when I gave my consent. 1 week ago, fast forward a week, I picked them up from the airport, and they told me all about their wild trip, including Kay cheating on her husband with a random Canadian during a whale-watching cruise and the bruises they received from being intoxicated on the sidewalks of Mexico. When she shared her experiences with the Carlos massages, she said she did not squirt this time, but Kay squirted so much that she apologized for the excessive water. I inquired whether she gave him a hand job and she said no, explaining that he placed his penis on her forehead and cheek. I asked her if she performed oral sex on him, not in an accusatory tone but simply asking. She became somewhat evasive and Kay suddenly changed the subject. Later that night, I later asked her why she was being evasive. She questioned whether I did not believe her. I reassured her that whatever transpired happened and it was my responsibility to process it since I had given her my blessing. What bothered me was her avoidance. She reiterated without any ambiguity that no, she did not engage in oral sex with him. He merely placed his penis on her face, but nothing occurred beyond that. Then she stated that she was thinking about me the entire time she was receiving her massage. I asked if that was a positive thing and she answered affirmatively. There was no real conflict, just a conversation. Afterwards, we were intimate. Getting legitimately intimate. Yesterday, as I was getting ready, I noticed she had left her iMessages open on her computer, and I uncharacteristically snooped on a conversation with her other best friend. I legitimately received a massage and a happy ending, and I legitimately had sexual intercourse with a large Mexican penis. The emphasis was hers. Now I am feeling regret for snooping, sorrow over her actions, and disappointment in her evasiveness and dishonesty after I have been so reasonable and understanding. I feel genuinely betrayed. In response to some, yes, I am a real person. Yes, this is a genuine situation. Yes, I write in this manner. Yes, I was okay with her being fingered. Yes, relationships and bedroom dynamics evolve over 13 years of marriage. Who doesn't want to keep things exciting and fresh and reward their partner? It was a mistake not to be explicit about our boundaries, and trusting a 2-year-old discussion about those boundaries was naive. Update: she asked if something was troubling me. I told her about seeing the text message. She said she was not expecting it but went along with it and is sorry. She admitted she lied because she knew she had crossed a boundary and did not want to hurt me with the imagery. She expressed that she would not want to know if the roles were reversed and hoped she could ignore it and not have to face the consequences. She understands how deeply I am hurt, angry, and feeling betrayed. She acknowledges that what she did was indeed cheating, but also believes it was nothing like the affair her friend had. I am still upset, but I feel better now that we have talked and that she comprehends exactly why I am feeling this way. Story 5. My first love cheated during vacation, leaving me crushed and insecure. I felt like a complete joke. For her, it was just another fling. Now, 2 years later, I'm battling a porn addiction and still haunted by thoughts of her. How do I regain my self-worth? My first relationship began with my soon-to-be girlfriend, 18 years old, sleeping with 2 different guys while on vacation. We had been seeing each other for 4 months, and during the past month, we had spent every day together during summer vacation. We had never discussed the nature of our relationship, so it was not technically cheating. However, emotionally, it felt the same to me. I struggled a lot growing up, and the 4 months I spent with her were my first experience being vulnerable. I had battled with my mental health for the last 4 years to reach a point where I could have this kind of relationship, and being with her felt like the crowning achievement of my life. I was too afraid to ask her about exclusivity as I was incredibly vulnerable, but I believed that our relationship spoke for itself. I had never been that close to anyone before. I often found myself on the verge of tears when I was with her, because I was experiencing intimacy for the first time. For the first time in my life, I felt good about myself and was truly proud of who I was. Someone wanted me. When she returned home from vacation, I decided to finally ask her about our relationship status. To my surprise, she revealed that she had slept with two different guys during her vacation the previous week. I felt utterly crushed. I felt like a complete joke. I had been so lonely my entire life that I would never have considered risking our potential relationship for spontaneous sex with strangers. I felt immense shame and once again felt like a loser. She was just like everyone else, having numerous partners for years. For her, what we had was merely another fling. My most vulnerable and meaningful relationship had been just another Tuesday for her. We ended up officially dating for about a year despite the situation. I attempted to forgive her, which was challenging since she hadn't broken any promises. I was very hurt and our relationship faced many challenges because of its beginnings. She ended up kissing a guy from her school during a particularly rough time, but we still managed to make it work. In the end, I realized that I could never trust her and that I was dependent on her validation to feel good about myself. My self-worth had been completely shattered by her actions on vacation, prompting me to break up with her. She never truly acknowledged how her actions affected me. We met up and communicated for months after the breakup, and she finally opened up about why she did what she did and how sorry she felt about the impact it had on me. We both cried for a while, but I still maintained that it wouldn't work out, even though that was a significant step and felt very liberating. Now, this all happened almost 2 years ago. The last I heard from her was a couple of months after our final conversation when she told me about sleeping with a guy 10 years older than her to make me jealous, I assumed. Consequently, I decided to cut off all contact. I have yet to regain my self-worth. I still feel like a complete loser. I often dream about her and I miss her a lot. I am still so insecure that I can only relate to women sexually as a means of outsourcing my self-worth, though I still have great female friends, and it has gotten to a point where I am unable to approach women while partying. Simultaneously, I am obsessed with finding beautiful girls and having a gorgeous girlfriend to validate myself. I am too anxious to live life fully, so this has mostly manifested into a pornography addiction, which only breeds more shame. I haven't felt in control of my sexual relationships at all for years now, and the only relationships I feel comfortable entering are casual ones where the girl is significantly more interested in me than I am in her, allowing me to feel in control. I am starting to feel increasingly scared and depressed. I do not know when this will end. I want to let go and start feeling good about myself again. I have genuinely tried to treat myself well and build a good life. I do not have anything to change. I am doing materially better than I ever hoped. I am fit, I am studying, I have friends, and I am pursuing multiple dreams this year. I should be happy. Yet I still do not like myself and suffer from intense anxiety. I cannot believe I continue to feel this way. Additionally, I think about this girl every day. Please tell me what to do.